What's going on, people? Welcome back to Madden Football. Yo, I have to say this. Arsenal, if you spot already, yes, I am an Arsenal fan. I do have a banner behind me. Yes, I do have a banner. I am an Arsenal fan. I hate to admit it, but I am. I am very, very happy about this performance, but Arsenal 2, Real Madrid. Yes, not Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid 1. This was nothing but a Mikel Arteta masterclass. And I must say, if you are a rival fan, if you're a neutral, if you're just watching this, you have to give your hats off to Mikel Arteta. You have to give your hats off to Mikel. This guy, I must say, if anyone doubts this man, if anyone believes that he's not the guy for the job, if you don't think that he's the right guy for Arsenal and that he'll take Arsenal to winning trophies again, taking tangibles like it's nothing, like we've seen with Ancelotti and Klopp and Pep and Unai Emery and all the managers that have won before him, he's just dusted them off. He's dusted them off. He's beaten all of them. This guy is the real deal. But let's start with the game, though. Let's start with the game. The first game, right? The first game. Oh my goodness. That's one of the best games I've ever seen from just any game in particular. Obviously, you could imagine how I was as a Gooner. I was over the moon, right? Two Declan Rice beauties. Absolute beauties. I don't even know what to say, right? They were so good. But today was nothing but a masterclass by Mikel Arteta. Nothing but a masterclass. I mean, you go into the game and you got to play against the likes of Vinicius Jr., Mbappe, and Bellingham, and Courtois, and Vasquez, and Valverde, and Tchouameni, and Modric, and all of the players you can think of. Rudiger. I mean, top to bottom. Arsenal said, we don't give a damn. They said they don't give a damn. You could put anybody. You could put Ramos back there. You could put Pepe back there. You can put Raul back there. You could put Casillas back there. It don't matter. You could put prime Carvajal back there. You could put prime Benzema, Bale, Ronaldo back there. It don't matter. They were going to walk out of that place. They were going to walk out of the Santiago Bernabeu with the lid closed, the roof closed, nothing. They were going to walk back in there and they were going to win. That's what they said. They said that they was going to win this game no matter what. Now, that's a masterclass. Nothing but a masterclass. That was defensive masterclass. That was chess defense at its best. Make that a rhyme. Write that down if you got notes. That was staggering. That was unbelievable. It was such a great watch for a neutral and even for an Arsenal fan. You forget that this is the quarterfinals. You forget that Bayern were playing Inter Milan. I'm watching the game and you say to yourself, oh, Bayern's playing? Oh, Inter Milan's playing? Oh, this is the quarterfinal? Like, you're watching the game and you just look at the players, how dominant they were. I mean, some of those Arsenal players must have to take a bow, please. Take a bow. He won the player of the game last time, and he won it again today. Declan Rice. Rice, baby. There's not enough rice in North London tonight, or there's going to be too much. Nobody in Spain, nobody in Real Madrid, nobody in Madrid is eating rice. I'm telling you. Nobody's eating rice because he bossed them. He bossed them. There's him and Jude Bellingham. I must say, Jude Bellingham had a fantastic game in the midfield, winning 50-50s, winning every single second ball in the midfield. He was everywhere. He made Partey look like a scrub. Although Partey was great, but he's nowhere near as mobile, as agile, and as quick and as fast as Bellingham. Right? Bellingham made Partey look second tier, and Partey is a good player. but Bellingham's on a different level. And then you got Declan Rice doing the same thing on the other side of the pitch, intercepting the ball, taking it down the pitch, making every great pass, defending. He was doing everything today. Everything. Unreal performance. Man of the match. Right? We talk about performances in the Champions League. That will be remembered. Absolutely. For a central defensive midfielder, that is why he's the best. It ain't Rodri. It ain't Chouameni. It ain't Camavinga. It ain't nobody else better than him right now. Nobody. Not one person. Excellent performance by him. But Real Madrid, they just looked. You can tell that they threw it out there. You can tell that they really was gonna think that they were gonna do it. You really thought that they were gonna do it. I'm telling you that right now. They look like they were going to do it. If they weren't gonna win in the first game, they were gonna win tonight. You could tell that the fans were up for it today. They really were. But I'm convinced that they didn't really think that the defensive masterclass that Arteta put out there, they thought that they could outmaneuver it. They can overpower it. But anybody that watched Arsenal this season knows that them defensively is unbelievable. I think back at that game that Arsenal had against Manchester City, where they were down to 10 men. And you'd think that against Manchester City, that Man City should be blown away Arsenal. They're down to 10 men. They're at the Etihad. They should have blown them away. They tied the game at the very last second, but you'd think that they would blow them away. Nah. Arsenal stuck in to the very end, and they were only unlucky to not walk away with 3 points. I've never seen a team do that against Manchester City. Never. You have to look back at the way they've been defensively since last season up till now. They are by far, the best team defensively in the world. No question about it. No question. Arsenal did something that you're never going to see from another team in all of Europe against Real Madrid. I can promise you that. When you, like I said before, when you have players like Mbappe and Bellingham and Vinicius and Valverde and Rodrigo, and even Brahim Diaz on the bench and all those guys, you expect those guys to not matter who you play against. They are supposed to be scoring goals. They are supposed to be delivering. And by the way, the only reason why Real Madrid scored today is because of that mistake that Saliba made. I have no idea what Saliba was doing. You can blame Saliba. You can blame David Raya. But there is no question that with those players, you should be bossing everybody that you play against. It doesn't matter who you play against. I expect 3 goals at least every single game pretty much. And you can look at this Real Madrid team and you can be very, very underwhelmed by what they've been putting up with this season. You could be very underwhelmed. But I will say, though, they still could have won this game. And they could have won the last game, right? It's just a matter of the team that they're playing up against, right? Mentally, they're not playing up against a fragile Arsenal team. This Arsenal team is not the same Arsenal team from 2 years ago. This Arsenal team is not the same Arsenal team from last season, right? Mentally, I say, not physically, maybe physically, but mentally, they are levels above what they were over the past 2 years. Levels above. This is an outstanding performance. There's something more you can say about it. Every rival fan is definitely scratching their heads like, what the hell is going on, right? Because there's no way people expected this in the first leg and especially in the second leg. I don't know what's more impressive, beating Real Madrid 2-1 in the Bernabeu or beating them 3-0 on a one-off game that the first leg you would not expect 3-0 at the Emirates. I don't know what was more impressive. I just know what's most impressive is Declan Rice's 2 free kicks. That goes down in history. But for both teams, though, I must say I don't think Arsenal will win the Champions League. My vote is that I think FC Barcelona will do it. I've been very impressed with Barcelona. Everyone's saying that PSG is pretty much the best team in the world at the moment in time. I don't believe it. I really think it's FC Barcelona. I think they've been the most consistent over the entirety of the whole league campaign in the La Liga, in Copa del Rey, in the Supercopa de España, and in Champions League. I think they've just been so consistent. PSG, remember, PSG were in 15th in the format, in the Champions League format, right? They were in 15th place. Jamie Carragher said it on the uh, CBS show. He said it, right? They were in 15th. Barcelona were in third or second place, right? Liverpool were in first. Arsenal were either in third or second place. I don't remember off the top of my head. And Real Madrid were nowhere near either, right? So if you look at consistency, right, as opposed to what's going on over the past year, right, to me, it's definitely FC Barcelona that's been the most consistent, right? Definitely the most consistent over the entirety of their season in the domestic in La Liga and other competitions, and even in the Champions League. They've been so consistent each and every single week. It's just that PSG are just so devastating right now with what they got. So I think Barcelona is going to win the Champions League, but I don't know, man. It's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. But other than that, though, that was an absolute masterclass by Arsenal. Arsenal fans should be over the moon right now. I'm very happy. I can't say that I'm not happy or I'm neutral. I am very happy. I have the banner behind me, so I can't hide it. But yes, I am very happy about that. Other than that, though, Real Madrid have to look at themselves in the eye and really, really tell themselves what the hell happened. I mean, 3-0 in the first leg is not acceptable, and 2-1 in the second leg. And as time was running out, you really started to see just how, you know, incapable of a comeback it really was, and how unrealistic a comeback would be, against this Arsenal team. Like, I can see a comeback against Manchester City. I can see a comeback against a Bayern Munich, but I don't see a comeback against teams like Barcelona and Inter Milan and Arsenal. Maybe PSG, maybe Villa, maybe Dortmund, but teams that are defensively solid at the back first, then midfield attack or whatever, but defensively solid in any phase of play, right? It's just so unrealistic to see a comeback. It was so unrealistic. And I'll say it again because, like, if you just watch the game over, you could just see how, like, a La Remontada was just not going to happen. It was not going to happen. There was no lapses of the game where you can go, oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. It was like, no, it was calm. It was dead. The game was over a long time before any assumption of a comeback was going to happen. So, yeah, I just think the guys like Saka and Bellingham and whatchamacallit, Rice and Maslow Skelly and Partey, even Odegaard, who I thought had a poor game attacking. I thought he did a very good job pressing and, being a leader out there and defending. I thought he did an excellent job, but you can just see how exposed he gets against teams in transition. His decision making needs to be better. So a lot of things Arsenal need to take in, but excellent performance by the Gunners. Honestly, bravo. They shut a lot of people up, and we'll see what happens from there. Other than that, though, take care, goodbye, peace, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hallelujah.